Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Jessica. It's going to be my first video, so I thought that I would make a reading vlog. So 3rd of September, why not just start? Been wanting to start YouTube for a while now, and I thought, okay, let's just go for it. On the 1st, on Sunday, I started reading Funny Story by Emily Henry. Finally, I have read all of her books. I wanted to get it on my Kindle just so that I could wait it out, but they wanted €11, and I was like, I'm sorry Amazon, but I'm not spending that on a Kindle book. So anyway, finally got that. In total on Sunday I read 150 pages, and then Monday I read 100 pages, and this morning I read 50. So basically all this to say, I'm like 300 pages in, 75%, like I'm pretty much nearly done. And I actually have to say I'm really enjoying it. Every time I start a new Emily Henry, I get really scared that I'm not going to like it as much as previous ones. And I do have to say that I am. Oh my god, okay, maybe I should start off with what the book's actually about, even though everybody and their mother probably already knows what this book is about. Daphne, our main character, was engaged to Peter, and then the night of his stag party, he comes home and basically tells her that he's in love with his childhood best friend and he doesn't want to marry her anymore. So the wedding gets called off, and then we find out that the boyfriend of Petra, the new girl that Peter's going to marry, comes to Daphne's house because she also obviously broke up with him. So now Daphne has nowhere to live, so she ends up moving in with Miles. I love Daphne and Miles. I don't know if I'm loving their relationship because it feels very much situationshipy. Like, they live together, they're trying to spite their ex-fiance and ex-girlfriend so they'll be together. So I don't know if I find their relationship like fully believable, but I am really enjoying it, and I'm enjoying the characters like separately. I read somewhere or heard somewhere that Miles gives off Nick Miller from New Girl vibes. That's my favorite comedy TV show, and I definitely see it instantly. Definitely hoping to finish this today. I think I only have, like, roughly speaking, about 85 pages left. So yeah, that's what I'm currently reading. So it's literally been hours since I filmed that first clip, but I just finished Funny Story and have thoughts, and I don't know how to express them. I loved it. I really did like it. Not as much as her other ones though, I think, in terms of the romance. Loved the story, thought it was so clever and so much fun. Love the characters, all the characters, small town, lovable best friend, lovable sister, lovable co-workers, small town kind of characters, a la Gilmore Girls almost. It was so funny. I think this is the first Emily Henry book where I've laughed out loud like throughout the whole book. I don't know why, there's just something about their relationship. I loved them as friends. I loved their dynamic. I loved the way they spoke to each other, the way they spoke about things instantly. I loved that. But just something about their romantic relationship didn't mesh with me, and I'm kind of disappointed by it. I really loved the message of this book though. The idea, that you can just get caught up in things and get lost, like lose yourself in things, and then, if they blow up, you're left with nothing. I really, really loved that. And the idea that, because of certain things that have happened in your life, you're scared to trust again because you know that it might blow up in your face. So you just kind of don't trust, which is really, really sad actually. So that part of the book was really interesting to read about because you're kind of seeing obviously how the characters got over that. They both deal with it in similar situations with different dynamics. And so it was interesting to see them both play that part. All this to say, book 1 of the vlog down. So this one I think I would give, I think a 4. So that's a good start to this vlog. 4 stars. I don't know what I'm going to read next. It's 8:30. I kind of feel like watching some Criminal Minds. I've started a rewatch of number who knows of that show. So I'm going to go watch some TV. If I start something new before bed, I'll tell you about it tomorrow. Finished reading Funny Story, and then I read like 20 pages of the book that I am currently reading. But then I'm also doing a reread of the Percy Jackson books, so I stopped reading my other current read to finish the third Percy Jackson book, but I'm making a reading vlog about those, so I'm not going to talk about them here. I got 20 pages into my other book, but then I didn't really have much to say about it, and then I stopped reading it for a while. But anyway, this morning I got another 50, I think I read 50 pages. I'm currently reading Long Live Evil by Sarah Rees Brennan, this stunning edition that I got from Fairy Loot only last month. But I have been so excited about this book that I was like, okay, I'm gonna start this like almost immediately. So far, so good. Basic premise of this book is our main character, Ray, is really sick and she's dying. This woman gives her a bargain that if she succeeds in the terms of the bargain, she will be cured. So she takes the bargain, and then she wakes up in her favorite book, the world of her favorite book series. And she finds out that she has become one of the characters in this book, and she is the villain. So, I don't know if it's a spoiler, so I'm not going to say it, but the terms of the deal is that she has to find something within the world of this book series. And if she finds it before a certain time, in the real world, her sickness will be cured. It gets straight into it. Like, she goes into the world of this book in the second chapter. So straight into it. And I'm enjoying the premise so far. I'm enjoying seeing, because you get like snippets of the book at the start of every chapter. So I'm enjoying seeing how the book within the book plays out as well as this book. The only thing that's throwing me a little bit is the writing style, because I'm almost getting the impression that it's like changing point of view mid-sentences. So the villain that Ray has become in the book world is called Rayhilla. So in her head, she's Ray, but then when she speaks, it says Rayhilla. But then also the character has a maid whose name is Emer. So then sometimes it keeps going like Emer's lady when it should be saying Rayhilla. It's a lot of names to keep track of for one character, if that makes sense. There's a couple of sentences that have given me the ick a little bit, to say the least. She says eyeliner game. The character's eyeliner game is amazing, or whatever the line was. And then she said that's something AF. In the book, that's not their language, so they don't know what she says. So she's like, oh, it means like as foretold. Just kind of it was a bit weird. I'm interested so far. It's definitely just going to take me a little while to get used to the writing style. But I love the idea of our main character being a villain, because we don't really get much of that. Yeah, the writing style is definitely throwing me. That's where I'm at so far. Just wanted to do a little update. So I'll definitely give you a better description once I get further into it. But I just wanted to give my first thoughts. It is Monday now, and yesterday I got a lot further into the book than I was when I gave that first thoughts. I'm about halfway through, and so far I have to say I'm really disappointed in this book. The premise of it sounded really good, and I do have to admit that my expectations were quite high for this book. And I mean, so far halfway through, they just have not been met. So because of the dynamics of the book and our main character having to find this item within a specified amount of time, I thought that it would be quite fast paced, but unfortunately not a lot is happening. The most important thing that's happened so far really is that the character got an invite to the ball, which is like the spark for the rest of the story or the rest of their plan. But it took probably like 100 pages for them to get to the point where they were getting an invite to the ball. The writing style also feels really wordy, so I feel like it's taking me ages to read it. And I just feel like that shouldn't really be happening 200 pages in or 100 pages in, whatever I was at. Also, the characters in this book, I just feel like I do not care about any of them, especially the main character. In the start of the book, I think they said she's like her early 20s. But obviously she's playing the villain in this book, so she's like a character playing a character, if that makes sense. But she just keeps talking about how she's the villain. She just keeps saying like, oh, I'm doing this because I'm the villain. It's getting to the point where it's like really annoying, because she just keeps talking about how she has like quippy one-liners because she's the villain, or she's doing this because she's the villain. There's like side characters that kind of join her quest or like join her side, and she keeps calling them her minions. It's too much, and it's also only making me think of one thing. You can probably guess what that one thing is. So the main character is just really doing my head in. I've seen a lot of people talk about the dialogue of this book before I started it, and I was like, come on, surely it's not that bad. It's bad. There are some lines that have actively made me cringe. You know, I said my first clip, you know, the eyeliner game and the will make you powerful AF. I didn't think it could get worse. They were having breakfast and the main character said, I'm gonna make this toast my bitch. I can't remember the exact line, but there was also a line where she said, the old villain or the old Rahila or something can't come to the phone right now. I understand that the character is not in a fantasy world, but this is a fantasy book and it's just really not working. I'm intrigued enough to find out what's going to happen in the rest of the book, but it's sitting solidly at a generous like 3 stars right now. Like, I'm not hating it. I know it probably sounds like I'm hating it because all I've said so far is negative stuff, but it's just not what I was expecting it to be. So I'm kind of disappointed. I have 200 pages left. I'm gonna finish it, but I'm hoping that I can read 100 today, which leaves 100 for tomorrow, and I can just finish it. I will probably not do another update until I finished it, just because I feel like I'm just probably going to say the exact same thing again. So I will see you again when I have finished this book. Alright, so I am back and I am happy to say that I have finished this book, and I am sad to say that I did not like it. I did what I said I was going to do. I read 100 pages yesterday and 100 pages the day before, and it was just really, I stand by everything that I said before. It was just really disappointing. It had such potential to be fantastic, and the author just unfortunately did not go about it the right way. I was saying to my mom yesterday, I feel like I read this book, but I didn't read it because the writing just didn't pull me in. It was cringy. The main character was really annoying, and the story just kind of wasn't strong enough. There were 2 characters in this book, Marius and Eric, or the Cobra. And if the book had been about them, 4 stars, 5 stars, maybe even if it was like really good. But there was a scene, there was a whole chapter dedicated to them maybe like 300 pages in, and it was probably like 6 or 7 pages, and it was the most enthralled I was when I was reading this book. 7 pages. The plot twist at the end, you know, I was surprised by it. I didn't see it coming, but you know, it was in the very last 10 pages, and I had just not cared up to that point, that by the time I got to the plot twist I was like, okay, that happened. I spoke in the last clip about the writing style and the dialogue and stuff, and that maintained throughout the whole book. But there were a couple of moments, I actually took a picture and highlighted them, because I was like, if the whole book had been written like this, it would have been stunning. And I just wonder where the author came from the cringy pop culture dialogue to this. This quote was actually in the scene that spanned over the 7 pages that I was talking about. It says, "A Valerius fell in love like falling off an ice cliff into dark water, fast enough to snap a neck, love like a sentence of death. The love of a Valerius was a weight that would drag his beloved under the ice to drown. Love was impossible, love was an unforgivable sin. Marius wanted a guiding light." Okay, so how did we get from that cringy dialogue to this? This next quote was coming towards the end of the book, where the main character kind of realizes she tried everything that she could to change the storyline and do what she needed to do, but because she's the villain of the story, it probably wasn't going to work out that way. And she says, "Who can believe the wicked? The wicked could believe in themselves. The world was hard and cruel. It bore down and broke you into 1,000 pieces. When nobody believed in you, when even you couldn't believe, you must arrange your broken pieces into a terrifying new shape. You could believe in the fantastic recreation of yourself." Okay, stunning. So where was that throughout the rest of the book? Maybe like the last 100 pages were like kind of intriguing, because obviously it was like where the story had been building up to, but yeah, it just wasn't good enough, so I gave it 2.5 stars. So then the next book that I moved on to was the 4th Percy Jackson book, which I have reread a million times. I'm obviously loving, but I'm not going to talk about that here because I am doing a vlog, as I said. So I don't know what I'm going to read next. I have Wild Eyes, the sequel to Elsie Silver's newest series, the first book being Wild Love. I have Wild Eyes on my Kindle and I can't stop thinking about it, so I might start that. I don't know how long I want this to go on for. I might just upload this and see how it goes.